I'm gonna go play some college football.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA post-game show wildcard playoff edition. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk about this tough loss as Cardiac Caleb does it again. 31-27. The Bears come away with the victory here. Just like the last time they played, if you told me the Bears were able to score 31 points on this Jeff Hafley defense, I'd say you probably lost a damn ball game. So that's where we're at. Some key statistics. This is, you know how we talk about turnover differential in middle eight, right? Big key components of the gambling community, if you will. We won the middle eight 7-0. We won the turnover differential 2-0. There's like some people say a 4 to 6% chance. I've heard other people say an 8% chance of the team winning the ball game when you lose both the middle eight and the turnover differential, especially with the turnover differential being 2-0. So wild statistic there. This is one of those rare situations. Now on the flip side, you get the penalties, obviously, that played a big part in this. I mean, if you guys are on Twitter, you're seeing it. The non-calls on several different plays. The big punt return, which I know everybody's ready to fire Basac's ass into the sun once again. You can go back and watch it. The guy gunning, Carrington Valentine, dude's got a handful of jersey, pulling him straight back, pulling the jersey off his back. No call. They take it up the sideline. Huge gain. You got the Rashawn Gary non-hold call there where it should have been a strip sack. He still got his hand on the ball. A lot of stuff going on there. But nonetheless, the numbers ended up being 7 penalties. The Packers were called for 7 penalties for 65 yards. The Bears were called for 2 penalties and 5 yards. One of those penalties had to be called because the ball did not land in the landing zone. So, again, the whole game, Bears trailing, right? Point spread, we always talk about when the officiating becomes a little bit questionable, see if it caters to getting the score closer to the line. In this case, it did. That is what it is. But we're going to go through the chat, hang out with everybody here, talk about it. Just a couple of takeaways for me. Again, we talked about the middle eight, the turnover differential. When Cooper left the game, I know people was going, what happened in the second half? That was a collapse. Edgerrin Cooper is way more important to this defense than people, I think, realize. He leaves the game with the injury. The defense really, really starts to collapse in the second half. Sean Ryan, first of all, Jacob Monk goes out early. I don't know if he was starting at center or what. I didn't catch. Did you guys catch whether he started at center or not?
No.
Okay, so he goes out really, really early. Maybe it was on a special teams play. So you lose your backup center. Let's assume Sean Ryan started the whole game. Then Sean Ryan gets hurt on that final drive. And now you're literally down to Lecitus Smith. You're down to your 4th center, your 4th string center. I was sitting there going, at that point, I'm going, we will be lucky to get a snap into Jordan Love's hands. That was just a wild thing that uncovered there as well. Of course, you had the Rasheed Walker penalty at the end. I think it's safe to say he will not be a Packer next year. I'm going to be very vocal with Keyshawn Nixon. I'm done. I've defended him. Hey, he's played good. I've tried to point out the positives, but this stupid crap of jumping on the pile, acting like a tough guy is just, how many times is this going to happen, before we actually do something or make a change? That was just absolutely wild to me. So if I were to pick a player of the game for the Packers, it's definitely Jordan Love, 323 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Again, this offense, running the ball, my biggest knock, and I want to get your all's take on it. Second half play calling, did not like how aggressive we were. Watching Twitter, people were going, oh, why are we playing so vanilla? Why aren't we playing aggressive? Guys, we came out in the second half, the first 4 drives of the second half, 9 passes to 4 runs. We were doing the opposite from playing conservative. We were playing way too aggressive trying to throw the football around. But nonetheless, 23 carries, 99 yards. You ran the ball fairly effective, although they started loading the box at the end. Romeo Doubs had a huge game, 8 catches, for 124 yards. My man stepped up big time. It sucks he's probably not going to be a Packer next year because, boy, when the game's on the line, Romeo, there you go, man. Dead Fish, I agree, buddy. Romeo made some big plays there down the stretch. We're going to hit the super chats. I see them piling up in here as well. We'll get to those next. Let's go around the horn one time. Emilio, I think there's still 1,000 other things I want to hit on, but hopefully y'all took the Jordan Love over because he torched the 223.5 for 323 yards. And again, the 4 touchdowns and no picks was pretty impressive there. But go ahead, Emilio. What you got, man?
Yeah, crazy game. We had it at half, missed field goal. All right, let's keep moving, 3-and-out. That's a tough start, and you only lose 40 seconds there. You get a bad feeling, then you punt, and you kind of start unraveling. Great game, but like you said, Romeo, he was a best graded player we have here on PFF. Hit an 85.5. Matthew is second with an 81.6. Jordan Morgan, 78.5. Love to see that. Jordan Love with a 76.8. It's just tough way to go. You lose an O-lineman just like we did last year. My boy had to come in. You didn't have him to come in this year, so we might need to, check out the O-line coming into this offseason here. But when they protected Love, like he was cutting him up 4 touchdowns. I mean, he had a heck of a game. Defense couldn't plug the hole. I mean, I don't know.
Dude, that's the thing is like I'm looking at some of the comments and it's bashing Jordan Love, it's bashing Matt LaFleur, it's fire Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, blah, 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 right? And I'm going, boys, at what point do we throw some of this at the feet of Jeff Hafley? And I'm not saying fire Jeff Hafley like people were saying fire Matt LaFleur. I'm simply saying the Packers scored 27 points, and this defense gave up 31 points. That was the story of the game here. It wasn't the offense not doing its job. You protected the football. What we say, protect the football, you win the game, right? They protected the football. They put 27 points on the board. You seen, I think it was Rasheed Walker came up to Jordan at the end of the game and tried to kind of like pat him on the back. Jordan wasn't having it. Like you could tell Jordan was pissed. Like, damn, there's no reason why we shouldn't have won this ball game. And again, if the argument is, well, he lost Cooper, he lost Parsons, I get that. Matt LaFleur is doing this with this offense without Tucker Kraft. He's doing it with the 4th string center. I mean, yeah. Anyway, we are going to be a sounding board tonight. Everybody get it out. We are your therapy in here. Jacob, go ahead and start this thing off. Try not to use any 4-letter words there, sir.
I mean, what can you say? This was an absolute collapse. Like, we have to be honest with what happened today. We watched it. It was disappointing, to say the least. And it's very disappointing because we had this game. It's just like the other – basically, the 3 games that we've played against the Bears, we controlled the game for most of, like, I'm talking 90% of the game. And for whatever reason, we decided that we're going to let these guys crawl back in like a bunch of leeches, a bunch of weirdos just creeping and crawling their way back into the game. And, yeah, man, it sucks. Like, it really does suck. Like, it was a game that we should have had in the bag. If you would have looked at our group chat, you would have seen Emilio throwing a bunch of Snapchats, or what do you call them?
Gifts.
Gifts. That's what you call them.
Yeah. Papa Jacob figuring it out.
Just boy got in the bag, man. I'm telling you. And to Clayton's point, I mean, how much more could Jordan Love do, man? 24 of 46, 323, averaging 7 per, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean,
yeah,
bruh, like, what are we supposed to do? I mean, and it really does. And it's just like for whatever reason at halftime, something changed. Something freaking changed where the momentum just absolutely left the Packers sideline. And I don't understand. That's one of those things that, if these, I'm sure there's a ton of people in the chat that want to sit here and be like, Matt LaFleur is blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, but do the players have any sort of onus on themselves?
Right. No, it's Rich Bisaccia's fault that Brandon McMahon has missed those kicks. It's unbelievable.
Right. I mean, that's 7 points right there. 2 missed field goals, an extra point. That's 7 points right there. And let alone it was still 21-6 at the end of the third. 25 points got scored in the 4th quarter by them. Yeah,
go ahead, Jacob. Finish. You're on the roll there, buddy.
No, man, I'm just saying. It's just that, we can sit here and pretend like everything is great. What's weird is that like Golden all of a sudden showed up, All of a sudden,
Oh,
Josh
great,
Jacobs is got thunder thighs again. All of a sudden, at the weird points where stuff needed to come to a fruition, it just didn't. And
right.
that's kind of been the telltale story of this season, man. It sucks. And you know what? Like this is a brutal loss. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's not. This is oh God, I almost swore. This is a gut dagger right now. This is a gut one that like sits you and just guts you out. You know what I mean? It's a brutal loss, man, and it is.
It is, man. Yeah. Mike Berry says sipping bourbon, 4 roses, 4 roses, single barrel. I'll be okay tomorrow. I love how it's not. I'll be okay. I'll be okay tomorrow.
Do you want to catch up on some? We got a lot of super chats going.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them right now. I'm gonna go. Let's roll with it. 18 Solder, guys. Again, vent, get it all out. We got an off season to cover here. H.E. Solar with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says at some point the Packers need to emphasize special teams. Giving up big returns and multiple missed kicks have killed this team in big games, and it's happened for 2 years now. Right now, here's the thing: you went out and got the best available kicker. I think we would all agree, and Brandon McManus. Like Solar, I'm not. This isn't a shot at you. I'm asking out loud. I'm even asking myself, how do you fix it? How do you find that next great kicker? Because it seems like as soon as someone finds one, like a Justin Tucker, he goes out and does some weird crap, and now he's out of the league. You know, it's just like, I don't know, man. Who was the kicker that San Francisco drafted that we were talking about the other day? I can't remember his name. Was it Jake Bates? Am I thinking right or no? Is it somebody else?
Moody or Bates? Yeah.
Moody. That's it. Jake Moody, wasn't it? So
okay.
They drafted him in like the 3rd round, right? 3rd or 4th round. And he's pretty much out of the league now, right? I mean, he's pretty much done. So I don't know what the answer is, Solder. I don't, man. Other than, like you said, you got to nothing gets fixed if you don't emphasize special teams. And we kind of talked about that in the pregame, obviously. Or I think it might have been yesterday's show. We talked about that. So leading in, but appreciate the super chat, Solder. I'm with you though, man. Special teams, boy, they crapped the bed tonight. Well, not really. The return, I'm a little more forgiving on. Because again, I'm watching all the space they've got, and my eyes go from the returner and all the space and covering that space, and then going to the gunners, and I'm like, do they not see Carrington Ballantyne being grabbed from behind? Right? Is this really happening right now? And then I'm thinking, we got enough bodies, maybe we'll make the tackle, and then he cuts up the sideline. I'm like, geez, Pete,
don't have Bo as a gunner.
Yeah. Biz 1987 with the super. Thank you, buddy. Says, I'm tired of imploding against the same team twice. Also, no plan against the opponent's second half adjustments. Embarrassing. And again, man, they did. They made the adjustment once again and pulled it out. We were kind of talking about this before we went live. It's like, what happened in the second half? What happened in the second half? They made an adjustment. We made an adjustment. They made another adjustment. You can see Caleb Williams kind of drawing it up in the dirt. And I know people don't want to hear it, but you fan how you want to fan. I'll fan how I want to fan. When he can stand back there and his offensive line can literally hold after hold after hold, what can you do? Okay, you dial up some pressure, right? You try to bring a blitz. We did that. We got burnt by Loveland, right? So it's like, I'm looking at it from that direction. I thought Gary had a pretty good game. I don't know. You got a prelim on Gary's PFF grade, Amelia? I was surprised. I wasn't expecting Gary to be that effective. It seemed like he was.
He looked like he was running real hard.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary was top 5, 68-6. He was 5th.
So nothing great in terms of PFF, but
no, I mean the top 5 was Edrin at 1 with an 81.1, Bull at 2 with a 78.9, McDuffie at 3 with a 70.4, Brinson at 4 with a 68.8, and then Rashawn at a 68.6.
Got it. All right, appreciate the super chat there, Biz. Totally on board with you, man. H.E. Solder with the super chat. Running the play clock down to 0 needs to stop. Y'all remember when they were complaining about Aaron? This was Aaron's fault when Aaron was here. You remember that? It needs to stop. Delay of game, out of the timeout, and at the end of the game was stupid. Love is a rhythm guy, so get your play calls in a manner that keeps Love in tempo. Here's the problem that I have with that, Solder, is I don't see them hurry, get the play call in. I'm seeing Jordan making the check too late. And I could be wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong. But from my perspective, it looks like he's checking a little too late. And that's something that needs to be cleaned up. I agree with you there. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. That how many times we had to see him slapping his hands like snap the ball, because we're waiting until the last split second. They wait as long as possible to get a better look at the defense, right? That's what they're doing. It's kind of like when a coach will call a timeout and get what they call a Kodak, right? take a look at the defense, call a timeout. Now we know what set they're in. Now they may change it, but we're a little bit better prepared for what their number one call is in that situation. It could be a go-to-it play on the go-to-it sheet, right, as we call it. But I can understand, man. It's frustrating too when you.
Well, we did have the delay of game on that kick that we tried, and then we miss it, right?
The delay of game came, that pushed the kick back 5 more yards.
And
so
we missed that kick.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, does he hit the kick? Look from the angle I'm looking at, I don't feel like it goes through there, but it's from a kicker standpoint, you're feeling a lot better about that opportunity if you're 5 yards closer. I think we would all agree. I mean, the chances go up pretty significantly. So I appreciate the super chat there. So the reality shift with the super chat says they need to fire McManus as soon as he steps in that locker room. Absolute horrible performance by him. You want to hear something funny? So I'm one that I think McManus is a better kicker than Haversick. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree. Mandy was all too hell when they let Haversick go. I mean, all too hell. We had conversations over lunch about it. This girl was mad about it, right? I went downstairs and there was 2 minutes left. And I went to use the bathroom, come back up, kind of get ready for the stream. It kind of felt like which way this game was going, just to be honest with you. Like the last 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going, okay, I got a good feel of where this momentum is, just to be real. But as I walk in the bathroom, she said, should have kept the substitute teacher. Like this asshole. She really just burned me like that. So I'm okay with moving on to a better kicker reality shift if we know of a better kicker, It sucks, man, because he's been a good kicker. Am I wrong? I feel like he's been a good kicker. But man, Clutch is different, dude. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but when I'm watching a kicker try to kick a field goal with a game on the line or a close game, I'm like, I always think, I don't know how their knees are not rattling together right now. I'm a nervous wreck. How do they go out there and do this? So I'm a little more lenient in that regard, I guess. But how
did you think the snap was clean on most of those?
To me,
exchanges?
it looked like it was. Now, the first miss was that. Did he miss an extra point?
Yeah. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point.
So the extra point to me looked like he had a flash off of his right side with pressure, and that can mess with you, right? Now you're taught, don't even focus on that. Just swing through the ball, right? Let everybody do their job. So the ball didn't get blocked, so it's still on the kicker. But that's the only one that I feel like was a little off.
There was one that was a bad snap. The holder had to get a hold of, and then it was that's the one that he missed too, or one of the ones that he missed.
Right? Yeah, so that's 2 that affected. So, and again, should he still hit it if the ball gets down where you could kick?
And the ball did get down, like it did.
So
like it was a bad snap. He, was a little bit muffed. I don't want to go full Ace Ventura. The lace is out, but it was a bad snap. But the guy got the hold down. Amelia, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, definitely. No, Daniel Willen's a dog. I mean, we're lucky that we have him on punt and on field goal, extra point, whatever. But Santos hit 3 field goals, 2 extra points for 11 points, and McManus went 0 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 4 on extra points for 3 points. So that's you left 7 points on the board there. We wouldn't even be talking about 31-27 right now.
Yeah. Josh Martin with the super chat. Appreciate you, Josh. He said LaFleur has to go clean house. So any thoughts on that comment there, gents? Any thoughts on that at all? Do you agree or disagree? I disagree.
I would disagree still.
Okay. Jacob, you agree or disagree, sir?
I mean, it's easy at this point in the season, at this actual time, to be like, I want to burn everything down, right? Like, that's what you would if you're a unrational type of person. No, I don't believe that.
There's the answer I was looking for.
It's not. No, I mean, to be honest, like today, it was frustrating. Like, I think I actually did text Clayton in our group chat, and for once in like a million years, Clayton responded, and he's like, well, what do you specifically mean? And I honestly couldn't give him an actual answer. I just meant,
and I wasn't trying to be a smart ass. I'm like,
no, and I understand that. That's like why, we got the relationship we do, because I went, I don't know. I just felt like the momentum changed, and then sure as poopy, it felt like the momentum changed, and that was just kind of my point. Is that for whatever reason, we just don't have that dog in us. And that is maybe where, the people that are sitting here on the comments being like, well, Matt LaFleur doesn't know how to inspire, kind of be like that rah-rah type people. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not there on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here sitting in my chair, drinking some Pepsis and being like, I would have called this real different right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different. But like, it does seem that for whatever reason, we lost our crap after the second half. I mean, I don't know why.
Do you think? Don't you think it's safe to say that the pressure is ratcheted up in the second half more so than the first? Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what would fix that? Players being able to handle that pressure. What kind of player do you want? What do you think of when you think, okay, we need guys to step up in a clutch situation to make a play? Would you rather have a 7-year vet? Or would you rather have a second-year player or a rookie? I'd rather have the 7-year vet, right? Now, the problem with that is you can't build a roster full of 7-year vets because the salary cap won't prohibit it, right? If you try to sign all the great 7 to 8 year vets,
right,
obviously the cap's going to be through the roof. That's why you got to utilize the draft with the younger players. We don't have enough of a balance, and this is the point I want to make. Josh, I respect your opinion, man. I really do. You want LaFleur gone, that's your decision. Cool. Why are we not saying anything about how Brian Gutekunst has built the roster, right? We've changed the training staff twice now, and the injuries are still a huge issue, right? Is it Matt LaFleur's fault that they're getting hurt? I'm genuinely asking, did the coach do something to put him in a situation? Is he practicing too hard? No. The CBA makes everybody practice the same amount, right? Padded practice and stuff. Why does Goody keep getting a complete pass? And again, I'm not saying Goody should be fired, but we got the youngest roster in the league, and we got 16 people on IR, and tonight you lost your best defender, arguably, in Edgerrin Cooper, that was still left on the field, right? You lost your backup, your backup center, your second-string center, and then you end up losing your third-string center, I guess you could say. And again, it was just for whatever it was, 3 plays.
Letitia Smith had to come on.
Not Letitia, it's Lecitas.
Letitia.
Letitia is that girl you were seeing the other night.
Yeah, come on, Jacob.
She was a very good dancer.
So, with that being said, like LaFleur, okay, we fire LaFleur, great. Who's the coach you're bringing in? And if it's John Harbaugh, okay, expect a winning percentage to be far less. He didn't even make the playoffs this year with a 2-time MVP quarterback, mind you, right? So, again, I don't think LaFleur is the problem. I think we need to ratchet it up a little bit. And we started to do that this year with the Michael Parsons addition. And you went out and you signed Nate Hobbs and you signed Aaron Banks. Goody whiffed on both of those free agents. Or do we all agree with that? Yes or no? Do you think Goody whiffed on Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks signing them in free agency?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
I hate to say it, but it is what it is, right? So, again, it just feels like it's all falling at the feet of Matt for some people, right? But, again, man, appreciate the super chat there, Josh. King Tron with the super. Unprecedented, undisciplined, underperformance. Agree.
No.
Pretty straightforward. Jeremy became a new member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Thanks for jumping into, buddy. You jumped right into the pit here if this is your first time here. Everybody's name keeps changing on YouTube, so maybe you're someone who's been here before, but I appreciate you being a member, pal. Badger Trio with the super chat. Why was Matt getting cute with O-line wide receiver? See, that's the thing, right? Matt LaFleur isn't creative enough. Been hearing that all year. Why Ben Johnson gets all creative? Why ain't Matt LaFleur creative, right? Matt LaFleur's too conservative. Matt LaFleur's too predictable. Stat came out the other day. Somebody did put together 2 different statistics and, did the chart they do, the horizontal and the vertical. What do you call that chart, Amelia? What the hell's that called, man? Where you got a stat running on the column, or running vertically on the left and then on the right. What kind of chart is that?
XY axis.
Yeah, XY axis. Yeah, it depends on if you got a bar, a line. What do you got?
And what it basically said in a nutshell was Matt LaFleur is the most unpredictable play caller in the National Football League. Doesn't mean
that's not true.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. It's like the facts don't care about our feelings. Now, with the O-line wide receiver thing there, Trio, what did I say in the chat, guys? And now we're throwing to a freaking offensive lineman. Like, we came out the first 4 drives of the second half. We threw 9 passes to 4 rushes when we were averaging 5 yards a carry. And then we turned around and threw a pass to an offensive lineman. But again, the loud people on Twitter and across the Packer fan base are screaming, Matt LaFleur isn't aggressive enough. He's not creative enough. Like, I think he's getting too creative. I think he is getting too cute. I agree with you, Badger Trio. I hated the fact when he ran over the defender, the offensive lineman.
I love
that. That was pretty awesome.
Was it Darian Kennard? It was Kennard, right?
It was Kennard.
When he ran over,
like a running back, bro. He looked like Mike Allstott.
I came up off my seat and I said some baddie words, some baddie words. And then I immediately thought, please protect that football. And there went the ball spitting out down the field. I'm like, Jesus.
Some drop kick it forward and it was over.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Trio. Thank you for the super, buddy. King Tron with the super. I swear if I hear Malik over Love, I'm a sad. Love threw 4 touchdowns tonight. WTF. What the F more do you want, man? So gutted right now. We didn't deserve to win. Also, fire McManus. So McManus is catching some heat tonight. And I get it, man. I agree. I completely understand.
What Greg Cosell always say, Clay, more teams lose them than win them. You know, you got to take care of yourself. You got to look out for yourself and play. We talked about it, a clean 60 minutes. We got probably a good 45, and then, you know, it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, in terms of that, and Emilio, what you put in the private chat now, text them to it. Text the handle if you don't care. Okay. Yeah, we didn't deserve to win. What's crazy is the middle late and the turnover differential says otherwise. But in the second half, like, I agree we didn't deserve to win. When you give up 31 points, you don't deserve to win. It's that simple. Caleb Williams cut you up down the stretch, right? He ended up with 361 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You controlled the running game really, really well. You could tell that was the game plan. They only had 28 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. But Colston Loveland cut you up. They made the adjustment there late and put Xavier McKinney on Loveland, but they were in man coverage. That's when Quay gets beat outside in man coverage. So it wasn't like Hafley wasn't trying to make adjustments. But again, guys, you're without Micah Parsons, your best player. You're without Devontae Wyatt. You're only 3-tech essentially right now. And listen, Kobe Wooden has impressed me, to be honest with you. Yeah. Kobe Wooden, I think I'm excited to get him back next year, another year under his belt, off-season program, watching him play nose. So you lose Edgerrin Cooper. You know, I said it 3 weeks ago, kind of feels like we're running out of gas, boys, you know, and you ran out of gas in the second half tonight. So appreciate the super chat there, Tron. And I'm with you over that Malik over Love stuff, man. And I think Malik has an opportunity to be a great quarterback. I'm excited. I want to see him go to Miami, if anywhere, sign with the Dolphins. That would be fun to see him down there with John Eric Sullivan. That'd be cool.
Dude, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, man.
Do you think that this performance in the last the last 6 weeks, do you think that lessens Jeff's opportunity for being quote unquote?
I think it does, Jacob.
It has to, right?
Right, but he's still going to get interviews, right? Mm-hmm. And he's going to crush the interview, I believe. Do you think so, Emilio? Don't he look like the type of person he'll go in there and rip? I mean, he'll rip. I mean,
that's why he's got the longest pressers every single week. Like when they come out, I've never seen them stick with coordinator press conferences.
Emilio, it's not on rookie though, right? It's not.
It
set on rookie. When they do the interviews, it's set on rookie.
But 20-minute interviews for each coordinator.
Freshman? What is that? Freshman?
He's got coach mode on where he just snaps the ball and lets the computer run the play for him.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. Head coach 2006, bring it back. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's he would crush the interview, absolutely.
Yeah. Goose in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. Hope the family's doing good. He says NFL equals WWE. Man, listen, I've fought it for so long, and we started watching it a lot this year, did we not, Emilio? Yeah, we started looking at that point spread, and it seemed I haven't seen one. I mean, not one. I repeat, I haven't seen one damn game where you watch it and feel like the officiating is going into the direction of where the point spread is in the opposite side of. That makes sense.
Did you guys see the non-illegal hands to the face call? Like on multiple freaking rushes where the Green Bay Packers were clearly going after Caleb, and they just either held him, had an arm over their shoulder, or literally had their face mask like being pushed up. Like,
you know,
and it was.
You expect them to call it both ways. In my defense, the way I always respond to that is, okay, you do it. You go do it, right? Like, okay, if they're not going to call hold, start holding, guys. And they call us for holds. And it's like, but again.
Yeah, that Rashid one was weak. I mean, yeah, it was a hold, right. But like compared to everything else that they were doing, it was they was a let them play kind of game until, the second half pretty much. And then they just started getting out of hand.
Yeah. Appreciate the super chat, Goose. Good to see you, buddy. Mr. D-Raw with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, I think it's time for Matt LaFleur to give up play calls and hit focus on being head coach. We need a whole new cornerback room. I'm done with all of them. Man, the Nixon thing really bothered me tonight. It got to me. It was just a boiling point. I'm like, okay, sooner or later, you got to accept the fact that this dude he doesn't care what the ramifications is. He's just going to do what he wants to do. Quay had a little bit of that his rookie year, and he fixed it. Right now, maybe he hasn't been quite the same player, but if you get beat playing your assignment, and you're just not good enough, I get it. Okay, he's just not good. It is what it is. But when you do stuff every single week to try to act like a tough guy, and it costs your team yards every single week, it gets to the point where it's like, well, I can't believe they didn't play Trayvon Diggs. I really expect them to play Trayvon.
He jumped on that pile, right? Like that was the dumb, stupid freaking play that he did.
Yeah.
Diggs played one snap.
That's it?
One snap. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then Key on that 4th and 5 or the 4th and 8 when Caleb was rolling right, and it was like a long crosser. Key undercut it, thought he could get to it, and was 5 yards, 5 yards away from the ball by the time it got there.
And again, with Diggs not playing, that is not Matt LaFleur. That is Hafley not putting him in his defensive game plan. I guarantee you Matt LaFleur didn't go to Hafley and go, hey, Haf, I know you really like Diggs, but I don't want to see him out there this week. He didn't do that. Hafley's got full and complete control over the defense. They've talked about it from day one. That's a Hafley thing. And again, I'm not saying Hafley should be fired. I'm simply saying it's another example of why are we not even mentioning. Guys, the Packers are dead last in defense in almost all important statistical categories in the last 3 games. That's a fact. I seen that come across Twitter yesterday. I was like, geez, Pete, it's gotten that bad.
You want to know what's crazy? Is that if they I saw a comparison of Joe Barry versus Jeff Hafley. Joe Barry's better. And for whatever reason, we think in our minds that Jeff Hafley is the better coach, and like that's crazy. Think about that, guys. Like let's actually.
The numbers are the numbers, right, Jacob? They're the numbers.
The numbers are the numbers, bro.
And you guys remember when they fired Joe Barry? I got to the point with Joe Barry where I was just like, I'm tired of hearing people. I'm to this point with Gary too. I'm tired of people blaming one person. Like I get to the point where I'm just okay, yeah, just get rid of them so we ain't got to hear it anymore. And then they move on to the next person, right? Joe Barry's defense year 1 was great, right? I mean, great defense. Year 2 took a step back. Year 3, we weren't even running his scheme anymore. We got away from the Fangio scheme. We started playing middle field close. So at that point, Matt stepped in and was like, okay, we need to make adjustments, blah, blah, blah. And, okay, Joe Barry's out the door. Now, great. Again, we said this when it was fire Joe Barry. Dom Capers. Fire Dom Capers. He's a dinosaur. You know what the hell he's doing. All right, you bring in Mike Pettin. Fire Mike Pettin. Get him out of here. You don't know what he's doing. Okay, you bring in Joe Barry. Fire Joe Barry. You don't know what the hell he's doing. And now we're to the point where Hafley's defense, statistically, of the last 4 games, is worse than Joe Barry's defense has been. So, and again, nobody's saying fire Jeff Hafley, but if the special teams are a problem, right, and you look at the tape and you watch what the problem is, and it's a kicker missing a kick, right, or it's just the personnel isn't good enough is essentially what it comes down to. And you're not building the bottom of the roster to strengthen your special teams. You're building it to have that next great weapon. That's that West Coast offense roster build mentality that we talked about 3 or 4 episodes ago, where Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick tree, they build special. The bottom half of the roster is all about strengthening the special teams. West Coast offense teams, they're all about finding that next great weapon, right? The undrafted free, think Bo Melton, right? Bo Melton is like our prized possession on special teams, right? Well, what does he do great? He run a 4.140 according to Christian Watson's dad. He's a speed demon. How have we utilized him this year? Not one snap on defense. He's been playing receiver. So again, Mike with the super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, love was absolutely lights out. Again, I'm with you, man. Could have been a little more efficient, but those pass-heavy calls early in the second half that Matt was making, it kind of puts your back against the wall because you don't want to turn the ball over, right? He finished 24 of 46, but he had 323 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He protected the football, and that's going to make the completion percentage go down a touch, obviously. And again, when you're pass happy, Emilio, do you agree with how I feel about that play calling in the second half? Do you think we should have ran more, or did you kind of like what Matt was doing there?
No, first drive I probably would have ran it twice and then thrown on third if I didn't get it. Then all right, let's open it up on the second drive. But I would have wanted to get at least a minute off.
And why would you have done that, Emilio?
I mean, just to calm everybody out of the half. You know that you're going to get a halftime speech from the coach, the crowd. They're getting refills. Everybody's ready to go, right? So let's kind of cool it for a second.
For whatever reason, like they let that momentum shift, right? Did you feel it? Like,
well, I mean, the kick at the end was like, all right, cool. We don't need to hang our hat on that. Let's come out in the second half. Let's kill 5 minutes of the clock and go from there. But we didn't kill 50 seconds, and we're wheeling. See,
that's the one thing that I think me and Clayton got kind of for the first time ever. Clayton actually responded in the group chat, which is crazy because he never does.
You know why? Andy pissed me off when I went downstairs. She said, "Should have kept substitute kicker."
Jacob handled the rest.
She literally he had a great question. He goes, "Jacob, specifically, what would you want?" And I was like, "Damn, I don't actually know exactly specifically. It just felt like the momentum and the play calling was just shifted, and it was weird.
It was because we didn't complete a pass on those 3 plays.
The momentum
in the field would have been fine if we completed one of those passes and got a first down.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so do you think that for whatever reason, do you agree that for whatever reason at that point, you should have shifted the play calling into a position where it's more of a just run the ball, run the clock kind of thing?
Agree. And this, Jacob, I've been more on that side all year, really the last 2 years. You guys remember me. I remember when I was charting first down passes, I was getting pissed off. Why are we throwing on first down so much? Remember, I've been on this side for a long time. I just get frustrated because the people who scream fire Matt LaFleur are saying he's not aggressive enough. And I'm like, you're not even keeping up with how
Clayton kept texting me like, is this aggressive enough?
Seriously, and you know what? If it works, great, right? I'm as bad as anybody. You hear those people that it's run the ball, and then when they run it, why ain't we passing? They literally 2 plays later, right? But the reality is you were aggressive coming out, and if you hit on those, to me, Matt LaFleur came out in the second half and was trying to put his foot on their throat, which is what most Packer fans want, right? I'm the boring, cheap Packers fan that's like, you know what? If we just lean on them and try to establish a run here, lean on them. If you run the ball 3 times and run almost 2 minutes off the clock and punt, I'm okay with that. But when you pass 2 times, run it once, and you only run 30 seconds off the clock, and now you're punting the ball to them, they get double the momentum. It's kind of so. King Tron with Super Chat. Might keep Halfley now if that's even the right call. Also, watch Nixon stand there and watch that first touchdown go right in front of him. Yeah, Tron, I'm done. I'm done with the whole Nixon thing. And am I wrong, Emilio? Because sometimes we kind of get in our own head. Maybe I'm misremembering how I felt this year. I feel like I've been defending Nixon this year. I remember pointing out the pass breakups early, and then it's about, I don't know, wherever it was, 3 or 4 games ago where he's biting on double moves. I'm like, play your damn assignment. Stop biting on the double move, right? Mm-hmm. That's when I kind of turned. Now I'm to the point where I'm just like, yeah, it just ain't working, man. It ain't working.
Yeah, that's tough. You can't have that. You can't be giving them 15 yards free just because you hop on a pile. That's a keep your head kind of moment. And just, we signed him for 6 for a kick returner. We weren't getting that out of him. Ended up being our QB or cornerback 1, and then if that doesn't work out, where do you go to, right? So, it wasn't, it didn't come down to key, but there were a couple of plays where I would have liked him to, hug his man a little bit tighter, stay on a little bit more, little things like that.
Yeah. Ryan, and again, thank you for the Super Chat, Tron. Appreciate you, buddy. Ryan Santos with the Super Chat. Thank you. He says, fellas, this is on Matt LaFleur. The defense stayed on the field the second half. We had to stop making excuses for Matt LaFleur. It's on him, all of it. Matt is not taking us to the promised land. So we should have ran the ball more, I think is what I'm taking from that, right?
Mhm.
Is that how you're taking that? Like the defense is on the field. And I agree with that. The defense was on the field too much, but
yeah, they led in time of possession. I think they had like 32 minutes. We had like 27. So
31 points, boys. I don't know. I can't agree completely with the comment there, Ryan, but I respect the opinion, buddy. Appreciate the super. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Emilio? That comment there. Do you agree with him?
I would say that the offense was throwing the ball at 6.9 yards of play and running the ball at 4.3 yards of rush, and we're 3 or 3 in the red zone. The only thing that was, and 3 of 3 on fourth down as well. The only thing that held us back, 6 of 15 on third down. That you get yourself put in the red zone or the fourth down. Yeah, you make 3 of those. I think it was maybe third down and your penalties. You can't beat yourself. You can't make those mistakes. You got to know the way the refs are calling it. You got to play a clean game. You got to play extra clean and, make the scoreboard do the talking.
Got it. All right, Ryan, appreciate the super chat, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Dark Arts Poker with the super. Thank you, bub. He says, maybe I'm still too hot right now, but this loss is embarrassing. It's bragging rights for a couple generations. I get it. Again, if you listen to the show this week, coming into this game, kind of got the vibe I didn't expect us to win. Would y'all agree with that? I wasn't going, oh, yeah, we're going to go out there and take care of business. I did think if you won the turnover differential, you win this ball game. I really believed that. And it did not happen. But, again, man, I said it 3 weeks ago, like, you're running out of gas, boys. There comes a point where you go, okay, this is too much to overcome. And when Edrin Cooper went out tonight and I seen him go into the blue tent, you know what my mom went to immediately was, can they give shots in there? Because I thought, I hope that maybe they're going to give him a shot, right? Kind of like what
Cooper.
And didn't Coop get hurt on the play where Keyshawn jumps on the pile?
Yes,
correct. Exactly. Yep. Jesus.
And I don't know if it had anything. I want to say he was in the background though. I want to say he was in the background when that happened. So it wasn't like, I don't want that to be misconstrued. It wasn't like Keyshawn jumped on Edrin Cooper. Some people will hear that and think that's what happened. I don't think that happened, right? It seemed like he was kind of back in the secondary. He was covering and just fell down. So it looked bad, to be honest with you. Yeah. And by the end, when that injury happens, as we're going down, when you're coming down the stretch there and that injury happens, I'm literally thinking to myself, there's no way we're competing with the other teams in the playoffs for the rest of this run. Like the Bears are the kind of the weak link, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like I feel like, okay, you might pull out this win against the Bears, but boy, it's going to be an uphill battle. Maybe momentum can carry you through, right? But didn't feel good about where we just, again, man, if anyone thinks, and we can agree to disagree, but if anyone thinks these injuries don't matter, it's just an excuse. As somebody said earlier in the week, it's not an excuse, it's a reason. Like if you truly believe those injuries don't matter, then okay, go into next season, $60 million under the cap, and cut Cooper, cut Micah Parsons, cut Cooper, cut Devontae White, and go in with just what's left on your roster.
Cut Tucker.
Does that not sound like this? It's just a wild thing to think about, right? So again, it's not an excuse; it's the reason. It is what it is. You got bit by the injury bug, and again, I think we're to the point with this team that you've got to start questioning: how are we scouting right now? Are we truly digging in deep enough to the medical aspect of these players? Because this keeps happening every single year, and this is your third training staff. Like you just, I don't get it. So. But appreciate the super chat there, Dark Arts Poker. I'm a little embarrassed myself, buddy. Reggie with the super chat. Thank you, bub, or Regil, if I'm saying that right. Putting it a special teams guy to cover Loveland on the 2-point conversion is crazy. Completely agree. Now you notice what they did there, Emilio. You might have seen this. They loaded up the backfield, right, and had a tight end heavy look. So the Packers. They match with a heavy front, like, okay, they're going to try to run the ball. And then they broke the huddle. That's Ben Johnson. Broke it out, put the tight ends out wide, and that's how you end up with a special teams player out there on them. But, again, you'd have to look at, all right, who are the options to have cover him, right?
Well, especially after Coop goes out. And Hopper's got to come in. You got McDuffie out there. You've got every, big linebacker you can out there. You got Nick Nyman.
He's the
Nyman. That's the one that. Yeah, Nyman.
Yeah, that's who that was on him. That's a you break the huddle and I see that as a matchup, I'm taking that speed out 10 out of 10 times.
Just coming off of IR for like
10 out of 10 times, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super, Reg. But I get it, man. Not an ideal situation putting Nyman on Loveland there for sure.
Yep.
Godsmack, I've been waiting on this one. I knew this one was coming.
There we go. Here we go.
AR69 with the super. Thank you, buddy. He says, I'm sick of folks making excuses for Bisaccia, the same idiot that stuck with Amari stinking Rogers.